Arturo Dark Knight. He's one of our best listeners. Oh, UV.
UV? Did you just say UV?
Why is there a chicken in my parking lot?
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another Reality Scoot Gamers Wednesday night hump stream. It's hump day. Sorry for the hump day extravaganza here at RSG, where we do what we do every Wednesday night at this time, and that is hang out with you awesome and amazing folks and discuss two things in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, the mobile game brought to you by Capital Games. I'm your man with the plan, Ranger J 1999. Joining me is the one, the only, the Mad Chad lad himself. There he is, Mr. Clayton Karthik, as he's known in Karthik is what he's known around these parts is. What's going on, Mr.
Yeah,
Clayton?
something like that. Not too much, man. Just kind of trying to find my diamonds in the rough and see what we can make of them.
Diamonds in the rough. Boy, do we got a lot to discuss tonight, sir. And welcome everybody in the chat. Hopefully my chat's working. Why is my chat all funky? You know what? This is the kind of thing that'll drive a man to drink. There, Clayton. Let me just refresh this stupid thing. It's like, it's all wonky and stuff. I'm like, well, that's not going to work. I don't want a wonky chat. There, that's better. Jesus. But welcome to the show. We do this every Wednesday night for the past, what episode are we on? 314? I've done 314 of these. What's wrong with me? That's a lot of Wednesday nights there, Clayton. I'm not gonna lie.
It adds up.
But we're gonna talk about the latest and greatest news and notes in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, give you a little bit of insight of what it all means, and we're gonna interact with you guys. That's what this is all about. So if you are new to the stream, then I'll tell you how that's done. If you have questions or comments you'd like to make and you want us to interact and read those and engage, then all you need to do is put your question in or comment behind the word question, the actual word question space, and then whether it's a question statement or it's a comment, whatever it is, put that into the chat, and hopefully we can get that read out for you guys. And we will we'll do Q&A here in a little bit. We'll get through the news, we'll do all that stuff, and then be your friendly selves. Say hi to me, say hi to Clay, say hi to all the skewers. You see that's already happening already. Good evening, good hump day to everybody. Sorry I didn't get a lunch stream in today. I had a very, very busy day, but I did warn you guys ahead of time. Probably was not going to have a lunch stream, and it definitely turned out to be not having a lunch stream. But not to worry, we're going to have a long stream tomorrow because holy moly in the frijoles. We've got I'll do the Inquisitor event tomorrow for the lunch stream. I'm not staying up till 2-3 o'clock in the morning to do it. Sorry guys, I love you. I don't love you that much. I've done that before, and I have been a wreck for days afterwards. Damn Loki talked me into doing it for the gas event, and I was never the same afterwards. So we'll do that tomorrow, plus GAC. Not going to be a very exciting GAC. Just going to tell you guys that ahead of time. We'll do some fights, see if we can get the full clear. I doubt it. Heavy defense team, 4 GLs, Gas, Darth Revan, and a Partridge and a Pear Tree on defense. Luckily, though, we've got everything for offense, so we should be okie dokie. What else? Anything else I'm missing? No, just have fun in the chat, guys. Interact when do super chats. Go for it, especially when you really get our attention. There's stream elements, stream alerts, all that stuff set up for you guys to have fun interacting with us. And yeah, I think we're good to go. So with that, Mr. Clayton, are you ready for a Wednesday celebration?
Sure.
All right. Well, it's arrived. Let's get to the news. All right, I've got the content update for today there, Clayton. Shall we read it? Oh, we got a lot to cover.
Sure.
All right, so from our good friend Tuscan Meathead, he says, "Hi, Hello Table Heroes. Hi, Meathead. Hey, buddy. What's going on, guy? Doing great, guy." Says today's title update has been rolled out to all devices. Please head to your respective app store and download the latest version to get the changes below. Oh, I'll definitely do that. Keep reading for more details. You know, I would like to read for more details, Clayton. I'm going to do that. All right. The news itself. So the first bit of news we get is July's daily login unit will be Omega. So doesn't she become accelerated?
She
soon?
should be accelerated.
August. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. We're getting some Omega shots for all you guys working on your Bad Batch, with Take and Rika. Grand Inquisitor is now available. Check out the dev insights here. Well, we're going to look at that stuff. We're going to look at the kit. We're going to give you guys our honest opinion. We're going to give us our honest opinion about Grand Inquisitor, but we'll get to that here in a few minutes. On June 27th, for a limited time, TIE Interceptor has been added to Heartfleet battle nodes as bonus drops. So that's nice. TIE Interceptor, get some TIE Interceptor action. There you go. And July free calendar is, well, Kyle Katarn. Hey, that's all right. I like that. Get some free Kyle Katarn shards there. That's not too shabby. Get a little bit of Omega Logan character and get a free calendar with Kyle Katarn. That's all right there, I think. Sorry, I've got the Aussie oi thing now that's in Omega. Wait, was she from New Zealand? Was she a Kiwi? I don't know. There are some fixes here that they talk about in the next thing here from the post. Nothing here really that blows my mind. We do have some events listed here. We have the Omega events listed. We have the Salt Battles. We have Force Moon, Military Might, Fanatical Devotion. That's the Inquisitors. Ground War, Rebel Roundup, Place of Power, Secrets and Shadows. We all know what those are. The Mythic event starts on the 9th. That's the Daring Droid Mythic event. Fleet Mastery dates are listed there. I'm noticing that there's nothing on my birthday. Oh, there we go. Territory Battles. Really? You're going to start Territory Battles on my birthday? Thanks, CG. Thanks for nothing.
Which one?
July 11th. It's what's like?
Republic Offensive.
Yeah,
Gross.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a bad one to start on your birthday.
That's.
Better tell your guild to get their shit together and platoon early so you can get that out of your hair.
No, it's pretty standard. I usually give up for sure 5s and snips because I've got the JMK team. So I mean, you really don't. I mean, it's nice to have snips for that GR fight, but it's not that bad. Deadpool Kyle in the chat says, "Happy birthday, have a TB." Thanks. Oh, thanks, Hans Briggs. Oh, that's great. Territory Wars. So we have 2 TBs, one on the 25th, one on the 11th. TWs, we have the 5th, the 9th, the 19th, the 23rd, and then we get to the next one on August the 2nd. That's nice that they put that in there for when the next one is. 3v3 will be the Grand Arena. That's going to start the 18th. So that'll run from the 18th to basically August 1st. So we'll have 3v3 plus Fleet. Heroic events, Ghosts of Dathmar on the 6th, Defense of Dathmar on the 26th, and then Endor Escalation on the 14th. So there you go. There's the news. Oh, I do get the Omega Battle Jedi and Tusken too on my birthday, so that's nice. Finn's birthday is coming up too. I think it's the 30th of June. So he'll let us know. Make sure you guys get your happy birthday greetings ready here in about 8 days for Finn. Birthday spankings for the Finn.
Ooh, tasty.
All right, so that's the news. But that's not what you're really here for. We have the Grand Inquisitor kit reveal here. And let's see. I have this is the dev insights. I'm like, wait a minute, where's the stats? Did I miss something here? Like, nope, you idiot. The kit reveals somewhere else. All right, kit reveal time for Grand Inquisitor. It came out yesterday. I don't remember what time it came out yesterday. I think it was afternoon, my time, late afternoon. I was super busy. We're going to talk about how we feel about Grand Inquisitor. I have mixed emotions on this character. Clayton, I think he has some mixed emotions on this character too. Both of us will
Yeah.
be getting our Grand Inquisitors tomorrow. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. That will be a thing. So we'll do that
Only
tomorrow.
one of us will relic him, though.
I got me and Malgus to work on, baby. I'm glad I saved for Malgus, baby.
Well, yeah, I mean, GAC still trumps
TW.
TW.
Yeah.
I mean, if the amount of Datacron rewards in TW stays as high as they are right now, which I mean high is relative, but they stay where they're at, it could swing back to the way pretty quick too.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do some stuff with him tomorrow, but I will do the event. We will unlock him. I'll take him to early stages gear and stuff like that. I'm going to put some mods on him, but I'm not going to go relic the shit out of him and go use him just because I have him. It's still Malgus. Malgus all the way. All right.
Yeah, we still got 4 weeks till him too.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the Great Inquisitor kit here. We're also going to talk about Datacrons here after this because Datacrons, man, we got to talk about some Datacron stuff. I've seen some stuff from Datacrons. My own personal thing with Datacrons and what I'm seeing so far, and it ain't looking too cheerful, folks. All right, unit name Grand Inquisitor, Lyman, he's dark side. Shocking. Categories, he's attacker, leader, empire, inquisitorius, and he's an unaligned force user. It says this calculating, relentless master of the Inquisitors who specialize in dealing with Jedi. Because he was one. Did you know that, Clayton?
I did.
Did you know that he was a guardian at the Jedi Temple?
I did know that.
You son of a bitch. All right, basic. Pain can break anyone. This is a Zeta ability. Not an Omicron, just a Zeta. It says deal physical damage to target enemy. If all eyes are Inquisitorious, and I don't know why in the name of God you wouldn't be running with all the Inquisitorious, especially with him as a leader, inflict a stack of Purge, which can't be resisted. Reduce the target enemy's critical damage by 15% stacking for 2 turns per attack, which can't be resisted. On Grand Inquisitor's turn, if the enemy has at least 3 stacks of Purge at the start of the turn, attack a second time, always scoring a critical hit. If the enemy has 6 stacks of Purge at the start of the turn, you get to attack a third time, dealing true damage instead, which can't be evaded. So that's pretty nice. Get them purges going there. So it's a pretty nice basic overall. Not bad. Not too bad. Special 1. This is a cooldown of 4. There's no, it's just normal build. No Zetas or Omicrons associated with this. It says, you're right to be afraid. It says, final text, dispel all debuffs on Inquisitorious allies and then equalize their current health and protection percentages. Deal physical damage to all enemies and inflict ability block and vulnerable for 1 turn to all enemies with Purge, which can't be resisted. For each enemy with Purge, Inquisitor allies recover 4% health. Inquisitor allies gain critical damage up for 2 turns. So that's not a bad one to get. So not too shabby on that. Special 2. Now this is an Omicron cooldown of 6. This is, are you ready to die? No, Mr. Baldy. So on this one, it says remove 100% turn meter from the target enemy, which can't be resisted, and deal physical damage. Then inflict torture for 1 turn, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted. Gain buffs for 2 turns based on the number of stacks of Purge on the target enemy. You have 1 stack, you get offensive up for 2 turns. 2 stacks, you get speed up. 3 tenacity, 4 offense, 5 speed up, 6 tenacity up for 2 turns. So do those stack? They don't stack. It's just the number of purges on the character, which one you get.
So yeah, the I believe it's just whatever is available. So you see how they say plus. So it's the 1 through 3 will grant him those buffs. 4 through 6 will grant all Inquisitor's allies those buffs.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So if they're at 6, they'll gain offense, speed up, and
they
tenacity.
all gain all that stuff. Okay,
Yep.
Just want to clarify on that. Okay, what is torture? It says take bonus damage equal to 10% of this character's max health when damaged by an attack. Reduce defense by 10%, stacking max 50% for the rest of the encounter when damaged by an attack, and they can't gain bonus turn meter. Now, while in territory wars, the first time all enemies reach 6 stacks of Purge, this ability's cooldown is reset if this ability has not defeated an enemy. If the target enemy has 6 stacks of Purge and is not a Jedi, inflict buff immunity for 1 turn, which can't be dispelled, prevented, blah, blah, blah. If the target enemy has 6 stacks of Purge and they are a Jedi, instantly defeat them. Jedi enemies defeated cannot be revived. Okay, so a little bit of for Jedis. Makes sense. Inquisitors. Stab him in the throat. End it. You know, I like it. Leader, Master Inquisitorius. This is a Zeta and another Omicron. Final text, Empire allies gain 20% max health and max protection and 10 speed. However, if there happen to also be Inquisitors, and they're all Inquisitors at the start of the battle, gain additional 46% max health and max protection and 15 speed. And they are immune to ability block. Also, Grand Inquisitor gains defensive penetration up and often up for 2 turns, which can't be dispelled or prevented. Additionally, if all allies are Inquisitors at the start of the battle, whenever purge is inflicted, Inquisitor allies gain benefits based on their roll for the rest of the encounter, stacking max 200%. So your attackers will gain 2% critical damage stacking, healers and support 2% potency stacking, and tanks, well, there's one tank. Night Sister's going to get a lot of defense. You said lag? Are we getting lag? I don't think so. I don't see any lag.
I don't see anything.
Yeah. Obito Uchiha tried to use the Megeki Shuriken against me and it didn't work. If the enemy leader is a Jedi, Inquisitors allies start the battle with buffs based on their roll for 1 turn. Attackers get advantage, healers gain foresight, and tanks gain taunt. While in territory wars, while Grand Inquisitor is active, whenever an enemy loses purge, they regain it at the end of the turn. On their turn, Inquisitor allies can ignore taunt to target an enemy with 6 stacks of purge. Unique. Compassion leaves a trail. This is also another Zeta Omicron. Final text for each Inquisitor's ally. Enemies with purge have minus 10% defense and minus 5 speed. If an enemy evades an Inquisitor's attack, allies attack, all other enemies take true damage and dispel foresight from themselves. The first time each enemy reaches 6 stacks of purge, Grand Inquisitor takes a bonus turn and gains 10% critical avoidance, health steal, offense 5 speed until the end of the encounter, stacking of max 6. These bonuses are doubled if the enemy is Jedi. While in territory wars, whenever Jedi enemies with purge gain protection up, they take damage equal to 25% of the max health at the end of the turn. This damage can't defeat enemies. If an enemy with 6 stacks of purge were to reduce Grand Inquisitor to 1% health, he requires 100% health protection. Limit once per enemy. Unique 2, Patience. Final text. At the start of the battle, if all allies, minimum 3, are Inquisitors, this character gains 20% max health, protection, potency, and potency. Inflict all enemies with a stack of purge at the start of the encounter, which can't be evaded or resisted. Whenever an enemy damages this character with an attack while attacking out of turn, that enemy gains a stack of purge, which can't be evaded or resisted. Hamana. Whenever purge is consumed or dispelled on an enemy, this character gains 3% turn meter. Yeah. That's a word salad I just read there, Carton. Oh, boy. Where do we want to begin on the Grand Inquisitor? Overall kit, let's talk about the kit. I mean, I think the kit's fine. The kit's very good. I like the kit. But how good do we think the kit is? That's the thing, right? So let's talk about it. So your initial thoughts on the kit, Clayton, on Grand Inquisitor, because we've been waiting patiently for it. We've been waiting a long time for it. For those that made the investment, that got the Relic 5, that went through all the headache and heartache of farming those characters up. We know that the Inquisitors are kind of that. Someone says go to the devs insight. You want me to go there next? Okay, I was going to talk about this first, but I guess we can go back to the dev insights. Oh, was there something here? Okay, so this is something too here that we need to talk about. Grand Inquisitor was designed to challenge Jedi Galactic Legends who are on teams without their lifter units, i.e. Commander Ahsoka Tano and the Territory Wars game mode. Where do we begin on this? All right, so we'll get to that one here in a second. All right, Grand Inquisitor kit overall, though, what do you think there, Clayton?
I mean, overall, I think it's going to be... I see a lot of fun things coming together with this kit. I see a lot of interesting mechanics it's going to have. I think it's going to be fairly strong. I think the reason why a lot of people are poo-pooing on it is because it doesn't beat JMK Cat, which was the kind of the thing we were sold on. They never explicitly said it, but they never corrected us either, which I think was kind of their intention to hopefully sell more. Thinking that it would be the best thing to counter that in TW that didn't require a Galactic Legend. But I mean, outside of that, though, I'm just looking at a lot of things from this, and I like what we're looking at. I kind of want to see how some of his damage multiplies out. His basics should be really fun to do. I think some of the stuff in the kit will really pop off with kind of how the different things work. But until we get our hands on it, it's really hard to say. I'm a little annoyed that it's only inside of TWs that he reapplies his purge. I feel like a lot of the stuff was like, I feel like I get it to a degree because of some of the other stuff in his leadership. Like if you consume 6, they immediately gain 6 back. Your attackers are getting 18% critical damage. Tanks are getting 18% stacking defense. I think some of that stuff would go really, really fast if they didn't change that. But I mean, back and forth on it. There's parts of it that until I can play with it, I don't know. But I mean, overall, it's lukewarm water. It's not really good either way. It just needs a little bit more to kind of see what it can and can't do. But
yeah, I mean, it's we've been talking about this. What are you going to go for first, Grand Inquisitor or Malgus? In my situation, Clayton's going to get both, but I mean, I'm still going to go for Malgus first. I mean, we're talking about GAC versus TW, and this statement here, I'm glad they clarified it, but I don't understand why you would create a kit if you're going to say, and I'm paraphrasing, what was it, that they can challenge GL Jedi? So when you say that first, right? I think this is what they said first on this a while back. Yeah. I'm paraphrasing, so don't quote me. So that gives the impression that it's going to be able to take on JMK, and it gives the impression, right, that it says challenge, but I mean, they said the same thing about Starkiller, and he more than challenges GLs, right? I mean, he's the same legendary, kind of in the same ilk. He can kick the shit out of how many? 3? You said 3 consistently? 3
in
GLs?
TW? In TW?
In TW, he can still do it because of the Omicrons and the other.
Yeah, in TW, he can win against 3 with relative ease.
In GAC, he can do some good work as well.
In GAC, depending on if you have all the Omicrons, you can do like all 5.
Yeah.
Like you can, 5 out of the 6. You can't do anything with JMK. Just your SOL. That E is just not gonna.
No, but Starkiller is an incredible character. Now you compare that to Grand Inquisitor. Now we still have to get him in the ring, but the problem is he's got all these goodies. How are they going to stack up with the other GLs? Because you can see GMKs on defense, but if they've got Cat on that team, which is why I'm just like, this thing says you can, it's designed to challenge Jedi Galactic Legends who are on teams without their lifter. I don't know about you, Clayton, but I mean...
Well, I went back to their March Road Ahead to read their
let's
announcement.
make sure we're saying it correctly.
The Master of the Inquisitores has the power to challenge Galactic Legend Jedi in TW.
Okay.
And then they just talk about what he does. Also, TW, the squad will still be a force to be reckoned with, particularly when facing Jedi opponents. The Grand Inquisitors earn from your legendary event that will require forums for more information. And then the little snippet they have there, of course, says focuses on the purge mechanics. Squad will still be a force to be reckoned with when facing Jedi. They did not say of any which direction, which I think if you have an exact way that you are designing a character, don't pull the wool over the player's eyes. Tell them what it does.
Well, yes and no. They should not get into too many specifics because you know how this is with the community. They're going to get their hands on it and come up with the shit that they never even thought of. Right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I'd leave it kind of ambiguous. I wouldn't say GL Jedis. I would have just said GLs can challenge GLs. And the community is going to figure that shit out one way or the other. But I think the statement here just kind of, it's just like, Why would you design a team to challenge Jedi Galactic Legends who are on teams without their lifter? We know who that is. That's Ahsoka Tano. Jedi Master Luke does not have a lifter. Unless you want to count Jedi Knight Luke, but that's, was not.
Which, if that's the case, that's still poopy.
Yeah.
Because Jedi Knight Luke should still screw with him because they're going to stun lock him.
Yeah.
And then they got to sit there and eat it in the face.
Yeah. They're going to do good work,
And once they hit alt, they just go around the taunt.
Yep. And if they have Jedi Revan on the team. So I don't know. We're going to have to play around with these a little bit. But I just don't see Grand Inquisitor taking on a JMK. Even in TW, that yeet from Ahsoka is going to be brutal, man.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. They're just going to take out Ninth Sister, then the rest of that team will fold. She's the whole durability of it.
Right.
There's just they needed to sell it differently. If they wanted to rival GLs in similar fashion, how Starkiller is supposed to rival GLs, then say they rival GLs.
Yeah.
But you sold it as rivaling Jedi. There are only 2 Jedi GLs to pick from. One of them we don't see, so why would you develop a team to counter a team that you never play against? You can kind of see how the logic breaks down to why we arrived at JMK Cat being the team that it should have beaten. And it doesn't seem like it's that hard to code that mechanic to change, because you can be revived from Cat's yeet, so why not just put a thing that the first time an Inquisitor ally is defeated, revive them?
Yeah.
Because then again, it allows you, offensively, JMK Cat's still going to beat the piss out of Inquisitors, because you'll just wait to yeet till later.
Yeah, and once you get your ultimate, and then...
Yeah, just wait to yeet till your ult, and then just tear into somebody. Revive them, kill Ninth Sister, go kill Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah,
it's just, I don't know. I get why they want to keep the cards close to their chest. I don't like the fact that it was definitely sold a certain way inadvertently, and they never came out at that point. We've had 6 months since we've known. We've had technically March, April, May, June, 3 months of actual, that's the course they committed to. And that 3-month window with everyone going, well, we're hoping it beats JMK Cat. We're hoping it beats JMK Cat. Maybe you drop something out there. I get why they didn't, but at the same time, it annoys me that why they did it that way too.
Yeah,
you don't want to deflate the enthusiasm for people going for this character, but at the same time, it's like now these people have this character and they're not going to be able to do anything that they wanted to with it.
Well, the thing too is I'm trying to understand, if you don't want JMK Cat to be beat by this team, I don't understand that. First of all, it's JMK Cat. That's a package deal. You'd be insane not to put it on defense or keep it for offense, whatever you're doing, right? You're just not going to see, unless someone just doesn't have Cat yet. You might get lucky in that circumstance to put JMK down, but not rarely will you see that happen, because it's too easy to be overcome by a lot of teams. So there's that aspect. But the thing is that I'm scratching my head at too. So you don't want it to be JMK Cat, because this is what this is kind of telling me. Because let's just say that, let's make that assumption that that's what they're doing here. Well, why? Why can't you make the Inquisitors good enough? It's a legendary character. It's the Grand Inquisitor, for God's sakes. At least be able to punch with it, because some of these other GLs have counters. We've seen the Fennec counter for Lord Vader. We know what these other counters that are non-GL can do. SLKR can be countered with the Jedi Knight Revan Luke team. I'm just throwing those 2 out as examples. Certain raid teams can be countered by gas. Those counters exist. I'm always open for more counters in the game, because I think it just makes it funner to play when you're trying to... It's like chess. You're just trying to figure out what your opponent might do and what you want to put down on offense and defense and try to work that out. Let's not get into Datacrons yet. We'll get to that here in a second, folks. So I don't know. I think it's... If it was me, I would have just said GLs and let But if you're going to design a character... I'm scratching my head at this. I'm trying to make.
Let me put my little tinfoil hat on this for you. The reason why they shot this in the foot as being a JMK cat counter is they're about to sell us a JMK cat counter.
Could be. That could be, absolutely. And maybe the Inquisitors were not designed. They could probably... Now, how do we think they're going to do against other GLs? I think they'll be pretty strong, right?
I mean, Ray Kylo kind of seems like with the mechanics we have right now, like Ray, like the Nine Sisters should be eating whirlwinds in the face. The Purge mechanics can get quite a bit of stuff. There's a lot of recovery going on.
Yeah.
Ray could get out of control really fast because she gains mastery whenever an enemy gains turn meter. But then again, the resistance team doesn't have a great way to cleanse debuffs very frequently.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to kind of go back and forth on things getting reapplied, lifting purge. I think they could do reasonably well. They should survive some it's going to require higher relics, but it should happen. They're getting a lot of health and protection. I mean, every character is getting roughly 86% health and protection. And like almost every single one that I have that's not an attacker is sitting at like 90k health and 90k protection. So, I mean, they're going to be pretty thick.
All right, so it could have some possibilities against maybe some of the other GLs. But the only ones you typically see on defense is you hardly ever see C. In certain circumstances, I put C down on defense, but it's a very specific team, right? But that's few and far between. You barely see Kylos on defense. You barely see JML. The main teams you see down on defense typically is JMK, Lord Vader, and Rey.
Rey, yeah.
JMK, no shot. Lord Vader, now that's an interesting one, but I've been trying to think of that one today when I've had some time to think about it. The interaction between the Inquisitors, but man, if that team's got Maul on it, that's going to be really gross. I just don't see.
I mean, it's the dots. You only have one cleanser on the team, and that's Grand Inquisitor. Nobody else.
Seven Sister can.
She doesn't cleanse.
She doesn't cleanse. She just adds the health and protection, right?
Yeah, she heals, but she does not. I don't think she neither. No, because she can dispel all buffs on the target, and then Fifth Brother, this kill is mine, dispels all buffs, and then Shroud in Darkness. Doesn't do that, yeah. So it's just a one dispel on the team, so you're gonna have a hard time managing those dots.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, odds are you should be able to, for the most part, beat JML, probably Slacker, probably Rey.
Yeah. Which,
I mean, all right, that's fine. It just means that he's beating one Jedi team and the two oldest GLs. But I mean, again, tinfoil hat, if they're not going to allow Grand Inquisitor to beat JMK Cat because it's a far cheaper investment, far cheaper than another GL, my guess is that we got something coming out the pike that's going to be a GL that's going to beat this. I mean,
probably
consistently, cleanly, and whatever else.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. Yeah, I just don't seeing it being a JMK or Lord Vader the way they're constructed right now. Especially with the way those teams are designed. Even Rey, I think, is going to be a bitch to do. It's just going to depends on how beefy your Ninth Sister is, and can your Inquisitor survive those, big hair, those big hits.
Well, let's just come out and say it. You're going to need a Relic 9 Ninth Sister at the minimum to beat Rey, because
Beefy
you're not
girl.
going to take. You're not going to take those whirlwinds to the face if you aren't Relic 9. Let's just throw that out there.
Yeah, so I think the from the community and from talking to people, they're upset about the initial statement, thinking that just generalized GL Jedi. Then they came out and they said, they didn't say cat specifically, but they said non-lifter teams, which, I mean, why not put that immediately? I don't understand. And why would you not make that team attack then? I think they should have said it can try to beat GL Jedi. It still might be able to beat GL JNK with Cat. I think it's going to be really difficult. I don't know how it's going to pull it off because you're going to be 4 against 5. Unless I'm missing something. We still have to test it out. So there's still a lot of stuff that's ambiguous about this shit that we're going to have to try to figure out. So, yeah. Now, the other thing, too, is... So that's pretty much the Grand Inquisitor. I think it's going to be really good. I think we talked about this before. Gas would be, some other teams I think they're going to do quite well on. It's a really good A team, but, for the investment made, we'll have to see if it pays off. It's still up in the
Yeah.
air because you and I both have the characters. We took the characters up to Relic 5. Granted, I mean, the Inquisitors right now they're not a very good team at all. I mean, I can't put this in any other language other than they're just not very good. And for the amount of relics, the amount of gear, the amount of, especially the gear, Chirotex and everything like that, the team it's lacking damage. And, you mentioned this too to me earlier, Clayton, that one of the things that we were both surprised to see is the lack of firepower on the team.
Yeah.
We really thought Grand Inquisitor was going to buff up that.
To be honest, I was thinking Grand Inquisitor would have Jedi Knight Luke level of damage. When I read the kit yesterday and saw that basic at 6 stacks dealing true damage instead, I was like, oh, that's gotta be like, he's gotta have just an outlandishly huge offensive pool, and that's how he's gonna be able to just melt face all day. And it's just like, it's not bad, it's not great. I mean, I think Luke has another like 1500 physical offense compared to Grand Inquisitor at max levels for base. So it's just like, and then the other thing too is ready dice cooldown is stupid long. Like, I don't know why that is so freaking high.
Yeah, I don't know. It's we'll have to play with it, guys. We'll play with it. We'll give you guys more feedback as we plan to mess around with this, and still trying to wrap my head around this one, man. It's my initial thought is I'm disappointed in the kit. I think it's a good kit, but because compared to what I went through to get the damn thing, I would just expect something a little bit more powerful, a little bit more, and it could be still. I mean, in all fairness, I'm just being fair. I can't just say it's dog crap because it's not. It's actually a decent kit, but I was expecting OP because of just how much of time and energy and crappy drop rates.
I think those kind of things. I think most people are disappointed by the potential because we were hoping for a certain threshold. We didn't get it. The kit's still good. I see a lot of things about it being very strong.
Yeah.
Once we get to test it, I want to kind of see how some things play out because, of course, you're going to start the battle with plus 25 speed. You're going to start the battle by giving your opponents minus 25 speed, So there's some interesting mechanics that are going to come into play here. And the thing that I'm worried about, though, and the thing I'm actually surprised we don't have in Grand Inquisitor's kit, there's no constant TM generation in this team, which I just think it's going to leave this team open to so many different.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of turn meter, but nothing that's.
Yeah, it's like 20. At the most, you'll get 18% when you clear a stack of purge, but again, the problem that we've constantly had in the Inquisitor team is keeping purge on the enemy. Like it's always falling off faster than you can get to it. It's like somebody cleanses the team. Like Jedi Knight Revan comes and cleanses. It's like, oh, well, yeah, I gained some turn meter, but now all my abilities have to wait again until
reduce the damage you're doing, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's just one of those things. And the other thing that we knew was coming, but it's still I'm just trying to wrap my head around why such a big investment for TW. 3 Omicrons. I don't get it. We've talked about this before, Clayton. TW we do 4 times a month.
Yeah.
And now there are additional stuff that they're adding for rewards, especially with the Datacron stuff. But is that worth this kit? I mean,
no, because the reality is this did not bring anything new to the TW strategizing part of it. I mean, if you have a good Grand Inquisitor Omicron, or not Omicron, sorry, Datacron, or you have a one that you can use with that team, could you maybe put something together to make that team work? Sure, but I mean, it's just like you're not moving the goalposts far enough in any given direction. It's like, is it a good team? Yeah, it's kind of gas level, DR level. It looks like it has like some of the similar Starkiller viability inside of GAC on punching up pretty good of what is available in its kit. But I mean, it only benefits people that are kind of on our end of the spectrum where we can, I mean, and me more than you because I'm a little bit further down the road, but it's a lot of investment for very little return at the moment. We don't have anything that's going to make it more ridiculous. We know they plan on more Inquisitors because the way
Sure.
they've said shit and they're posting. I mean, even with the Grand Inquisitor announcement, it'll require the 5 now, and then so presumably you can get somebody else later. So maybe they'll sell us another Inquisitor that patches the hole in it. But then again, that's even a bigger pain in the butt because now we got to bring up another character to make this guy good. It's like, okay, well, 7 characters in and we're still not in the green. Like, screw you guys. Like, at that point, it's like if I were any account that didn't have all 6 GLs, I would say just go for a GL. You're gonna spend the same amount on gear. You're halfway there on shard and crystal and all the other bullshit.
Yeah, it's a very late game kind of character feel, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It just feels very late game. Like for someone like 8 million plus GP, depending on where you're at and what you farmed. If you want to go for it, I think it'll add some viability to your roster. But I mean, maybe in GAC we can do something with it. I just, as I said, I'm up and down on this kid. I like it a lot, but then I'm looking at where it's being used, the investment, and then it's not how effective will it be? Do I want to have that? I really don't need it for TW at the moment, right? Maybe in the future, maybe we had more zones and stuff like that, maybe then it might come into play, right? Where you need those counters.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if I'm going to go, if there's a jam key team down, I sure in the hell ain't going to use the Grand Inquisitors. Hell, I'm kind of nervous about using them against some other GLs. I'm just like, how's this going to play out? Because you're going to have even more of an investment in the mods and this team. So, hey. But I do like it against, we were talking about gas and some other teams, which is cool. I like that. It gives you another option, smoke some A teams. I think it's going to be a really good A team. But that's the thing that I'm disappointed about. It could, with potential, it could get to Star Killer level. I think if it takes out some GLs outside of TW, like say you can use it against a Ray or a Kylo or something along those lines consistently, then I think you might feel a little bit better, right? Because you've got another GL counter in there.
Yeah.
But until it proves that, I'm just like, I'm just like, what do you say to this shit? Oh God. Speaking of TW, so I think we've talked, and there's questions. We'll get to your questions, guys, on this. And thank you for the questions. Keep those coming in. Make sure you put the word question if you want to ask a question or make a comment that you want us to discuss or anything like that. Put that into the chat, and we'll get that scooped up. Datacrons. Let's talk about Datacrons because we finally got our first taste of Datacrons, and they're kicking off right now in GAC. We'll do my GAC tomorrow. But we got our first taste of Datacrons, as I promised you guys. I did mine on Ray. Oh, wait a minute. We got our a porn guy there. Hey, buddy. What's going on?
Oh, he's back.
He's back. He missed us. He's like, oh. There you go. You made it big on YouTube when you're getting porn smacked on your ass. But I got to tell you, Datacrons are a game changer, folks. Huge, bloody game changer. They are ridiculous. I've had people send me examples of this. Those that made the investment in the high. Now, this we'll have to see over time. This is just initial looking at it. I had I did the Datacron for Ray, so I'll talk about her first, and then you can talk about JMK because you did the 9th on JMK. Yeah. And we're both using it in GAC. So we'll both use it in TW and GAC, and we'll give you guys our overall thoughts on this Datacron and Datacrons moving forward. Ray is just, with the Datacron I've got on her, she's damn near unstoppable. I mean, ridiculous. Mine was just one example. In my TW zone, we put her, not the first zone, but number 3, right behind the first zone. So we had Ray line up, right? So, had my Ray with everybody else, but I had the Datacron on there, and there's a few other smaller Datacrons and some Rays that were in that zone. typical stuff. They probably went there to use their counters. They couldn't touch my Ray. Could not touch it. One of the officers in my guild said, Ranger, that Datacron is terrifying. I'm like, I know. That's why I hate it. I really hate that guild could even come close to doing much against it, because they got to my Ray and they couldn't touch it. You know, now they could have, I don't know how, you know, what they had for offense, but I mean, you know, they probably tried to send some people in there with some GLs and stuff, but I mean, she barely lost. Every time I kept looking at it, it was like I had 6 holds, something like that. I can't remember the exact number, but she still had protection and health and everything else that was on there. And I kind of think that if you got these big GL ones, especially in TW, a little bit different in GAC, you can still win GAC because you can work around those kind of big Datacrons. Depending if they have Datacrons and what they place on defense, you still have a chance. TW, man, I don't know what you do. You did JMK there, Clayton. What did you kind of see, and what did you learn from? You put them on defense, you said, right?
Yeah, I had them on defense, and they mirrored them. So it was a high guarantee that they were going to be able to win on that one, just because of the one that the level 9 ability they have, which is the additional ult charge per level. But I mean, from the guy who played the fight, basically said if I had used any other GL option against this team, it would have likely failed, because like Sid Eternal wouldn't have gotten it because he would just be stunning everybody.
Right.
You've an unresistible stun that can't be evaded, so that causes problems. The fact that you just have all these things that kind of throw troubles in the way. Same thing with Lord Vader. You're just running around stunning everybody besides LV himself. It creates more and more problems as you move along through there. So I mean, I would say with mine, a JMK mirror is the only way you're going to beat it. But the funny part is, I would say the same thing about yours, is the JMK mirror is probably the only way you're going to beat it. But then, like we talked a little bit earlier, becomes a bad equation. Because if I can put 2 teams, like, you won't beat it unless you have it. You don't have 2 of JMKs for offense. Like, you would have to save all 6 GLs and pray to God that you can, double, triple tap it. Like, that's asinine. That is so crazy. That's the so I mean, it's this set for sure of Datacrons is the one to go deep in. You want to try to get one to level 9 and a second one to level 6, or maybe a second one to level 9 if you can do that free to play. That's going to be very challenging to do free to play from what I'm seeing on the current reward stuff. It's not impossible if you're doing all your sector fights on that bonus node to get your stats out, your cleanup stuff out of there. I've been hitting it for a while now, and I've been kind of making up a little bit of difference just because I only have globals left to do. So I'm trying to circle up to a Ray 1 as well. But I mean, if I get a Ray 1 as well, I mean, Ray JMK, it's just like I can put my 2 GLs on defense, literally take everything else decent for offense.
Yeah. And
you probably won't clear my board. It's like, it's the old Executor Trump card from, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I've got R9, you don't. Kick rocks.
It's what it feels like. I mean, I'm just wondering how my GACs are going to play out. We're both tip of the spear players with the GAC, so we'll see what other people have for their what investment they made. You sent this to me. I think this is funny and a good discussion to have. So we've had the last big legendary was legend event was Starkiller and Grand Inquisitor, right? So
yeah.
So do you go Starkiller or you go Grand Inquisitor, right? So it's Starkiller says requires 4 tunes, 3 out of the 4 being A tier tunes. I think they're probably leaving Dark Talon out of there at 18, but yeah. I kind of like Talon's kit a lot, man. She's really viable, dude.
If you have those Sith built up and can spare them, it's very good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, she's hit slap with DR, and she can be used at any gear, any relic level for that. So.
Grand Inquisitor requires 5 tunes in a faction that's worse than Jawas. I don't think they're worse than Jawas. Actually, if you had a relic Java team.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't
Wait
think
a minute, hold on.
Inquisitors aren't beating Momo teams, and Jawas are. Inquisitors aren't beating Geo teams, and Jawas are. So,
Even what do we think, though, Jawas versus Grand Inquisitor? That's interesting. Holy
you don't have a lot of attack out of turns. I mean, if you went Jawas first Grand Inquisitors will crush the Jawas.
I think so.
But when you start looking at like Momo and Geo stuff, there's just not enough penalty for them attacking you in those constant assisting stuff where it's like it's not going to change the fight. But I think that Seventh Sister will get in the way enough to make that, like, they're just going to tickle Ninth Sister for a day and a half. But I don't know if you're going to win that either, because the only Jedi on that team is Kyle, and you don't have a way to just outright delete them because that's only in TW.
Next one says requires make 4 other pre-existing factions better. I think that's a fair statement. Only Ninth Sister helps elsewhere as Lord Vader's side piece. I'd throw Second Sister in there because her ship is fantastic. So you could say Second Sister as well. But the point stands. I'll give that one to Starkiller. Best part of his kit, dropping the beat, usable in all game modes. Yeah, dropping the Star Destroyer on someone's head that's a wonderful feeling. Best part of kit, perma-purge locked to 1 mode. Yeah. He's a menace in GAC and now TW staple with Johanny Omni. Yeah, and the Mar Jade Omni too. It makes it even more disgusting. Yeah, and then this is thing. Good luck throwing this out of GL and GAC.
I mean, when you're looking at it from the perspective, so this is where I get caught in the middle a little bit.
Yeah, me too.
Because I would say Inquisitors, to a degree, in the mid-game run, will be more attractive than Starkiller. And the reason I say this is that as Starkiller is good, don't get me wrong, the 4 teams that you need to build up around that, if you don't have those,
yeah, that's true.
When you get Starkiller, that is a super expensive way to do it. Now, granted, again, the same coin of that is that a lot of the Starkiller requirements have a lot of low star viability, low gear viability. So they're not completely wasted in your roster. They're just not as viable. But again, it's one of those things that if you're not sniffing a BAM team or a prepared squad, if you don't have a triumvirate at relics, if you don't have an EP Mara Vader team, which, I mean, I don't know who doesn't have one of those teams running at this point in the game, but I mean, if you don't have a Momo team running, there are parts of it where it's like they could be more attractive one way or the other, but it's just at the same time, I think the point still stands. That the Starkiller team overall is far more effective for the average roster than the Inquisitors will be. And the Inquisitors, until you get Grand Inquisitor, are just a team of Barrises, They're chunky, but they're just slapping with wet noodles.
Yeah, Kaya mentioned the assault battles. It also has a galactic challenge too, Kaya, but you have to have Grand Inquisitor to beat those. Tier 2. Oh my god. You get to Yoda, you get smoked. So you're going to need Grand Inquisitor there to do his thing, which I think it's designed to do. I mean, let's be real. I mean, that's what it's there for. So you got to get Grand Inquisitor up to get that assault battle. So we'll see 6 characters to get the assault battle done. But you can get to the tier 1 challenge. So that's still some Chirotex and stuff. So there's that. So
yeah, if you were willing to put a little bit more relic levels on them, you can get through tier 2 of the challenge without Grand Inquisitor. But I think the 3rd tier, there's not a snowball chance in hell.
Yeah, tier 3 as well. Tier 3 is well out of my range right now. Even with the Relic 5 and really good mods on my characters, I had hell on earth trying to get through that tier 2 challenge. So some people have beaten tier 2, but tier 3, you ain't sniffing it. You need Grand Inquisitor. Probably need him. I mean, what relic level do you think we need Grand Inquisitor at the most? I'm saying relic 7. Maybe relic 8. I'm thinking
he's an attacker.
Yeah, you want that extra damage, right? I mean, it's kind of
And
like
so,
gas
I
and
mean,
loot.
yeah, I mean, like most attack. Well, and the thing is too, right now, my assumption is that he is going to be the heavyweight hitter on that team.
Yeah, he is.
Um, so I feel like he'll probably do decently well when you get to mid relics, relic 5 and stuff like that. But I mean, real talk is, you're going to be pushing probably relic 7, relic 8 to be doing anything viable versus the GLs. I
So
mean, you
so
need the damage.
so that's Kai's point in the chat. But this is because we're having this Star Killer versus Grand Inquisitor. Now, I will say this though: Star Killer. Let's say you don't have the teams wrapped around him,
Mhm.
like for those other characters. You're still going to get viability immediately with Palpatine, Mary Jade, Star Killer. Hell, you can use Stick Ray in that team in Kenobi and kick the shit out of stuff.
Well, provided you have those characters.
Well, yeah, but I mean, most people will get Palpatine pretty early. But I'm just saying, you're going to have Mara Jade up, so you might as well, get Palpatine.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's your online Force user is like you either have to pick one or salvage one because not everybody has Ray. So there's like half the online light side Force users.
There's quite a few you could use there, right? So you've got some you can go with. You can actually go. And you can use old Ben in that team. There's a lot of Jedi you can use in that team that would be quite effective, especially if you're new to mid-tier player. I think that still will be a team that's going to be pretty gross. Will help you win more GACs for sure, because we know how ridiculous he is in 5s and 3s. So I mean, I can see from both sides. If you go for the Inquisitors first, you do get more access, but it's a big investment on gear and stuff to beat the conquest, the assault battles. You don't have any of those kind of events with Star Killer.
To be honest, that's mid tier to low tier. I mean, as in GP range.
Yeah,
are gonna be the only players fighting JMKs without cats in TW.
Yeah, I mean, Palp and Mara Jade. It's a good team. You can use Dash with Scoundrels. You can use Talon with your Darth Revan, or you can use Talon with your Sith Triumphant. So you can get some viability out of those teams as well. I know. I can see the pros and cons, but I mean, would I recommend Inquisitors right now? Too early to say. I would say no at the moment, but that could change. We're always changing our mind.
I mean,
on stuff.
unless it just somehow there's something and there's an interaction we're missing here, and this goes to just the God tier. My big no just becomes from the gear investment. I mean, the amount of Kairos you need just to level the characters up, not even to do anything else. It's like that's enough to get most of the Cairo requirements for like Ray or Slacker or Sith Eternal. I mean, like you could be like pretty headlong into a GL with the gear requirements for just the 5 Inquisitors, not including the fact that you need to bring up Grand Inquisitor to a viable level as well. So it's like it's just kind of one of those things where it's like there's just is the investment point gets to where it's like if you wanted to beat GLs in your mid-range account, going for another GL would probably be a better bet than going for Inquisitors just from the gear perspective.
Yeah.
Now, relic levels is a different can of worms, but again, until we get hands-on testing with the characters, it's hard to say what relic levels you're going to quote unquote need to have. Is this going to be a character where like the relic 5 they're going to be viable, or is it like if you're not pushing relic 7s and all your Inquisitors and relic 9 ninth sister, then at that level you're starting to be able to punch around and do something useful. But that's what I'm getting worried about. It's like it's not that you have to have the team, you have to have the team at top tier. I mean, it's kind of like the Dash prepared team with young Lando and young Han. That team is a monster on offense with those guys at relic 8. Pre that, even relic 5, you're not going to do a fraction of a similar damage to any degree. So it's just one of those things where it's like I feel like that's the unfortunate part with some of the things that CG's doing is they are intentionally designing kits and characters to be viable at the high end of the relic spectrum. I feel like the more relic levels we get in this game, the more relic levels that this game kind of pushes out on us, the more kits are required for high relic levels to balance that back out. Because I mean, it's like when Relic 7 was a thing, kits and characters felt a little stronger, but now that we're in a Relic 8 and Relic 9, it feels like a lot of the attackers are getting hamstring coming out the gate. I mean, I don't remember if you remember Jedi Knight Luke.
Oh yeah.
But Jedi Knight Luke gains so much damage going from gear 12 to gear 13. Like doubles his damage pool.
Yeah.
And so it's like
it's intense.
It's one of those things where it's like, all right, cool, but like, can we, I don't know, maybe have other characters be that good, that powerful? Like, can we need more heavy hitters that don't require, you know, Relic 8 to be good.
Yeah.
Like, and the fact that like the part that kills me is the torture buff's cooldown is so long. It's like that's going to be your big damage dealer. That's like a death mark that doesn't need someone dead to apply.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, but it's once every 6 turns.
Well, yay! And then they ate the minstrels. Yay! We'll see, guys. We're going to test it for you guys. We're going to look at it. We'll give you guys feedback as soon as we can get our hands on it. More Clayton than me, but I will have the character. But I mean, I got to go for Malgus, man. I know that kit, and I know how good he's going to be in JC. He's going to be a monster. So
yeah,
for sure. Let's get to some questions here. It's question time. All right, Fatality V2 says question. Thoughts on adding the extra stipulation about not being able to beat GMK with Cat with Grand Inquisitor if they said he could, and after we all farmed and paid for the Inquisitors. Well, they didn't say specifically that he could beat GMK. So let's make this very clear. They said that it could challenge GL Jedi, if I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
And then they said on this kit, it can handle GL Jedi. It's just it was in the
not with their support characters.
Not with the support characters. It's like, okay. So I think we kind of beat that one to death. George Fletcher question: do you think the Inquisitors are subpar against Jedi or against any team in general? How do you think they would fare against Qui-Gon and GAC? I think they can do quite well, actually. Trying to think about this. Qui-Gon team gonna have a lot of bonuses.
Qui-Gon with JK and Cam, I'm gonna go with no.
Yeah, because
I think the problem is going to be not just surviving Anakin's AoE. The problem is going to be surviving like the onslaught after that, because they're going to all have 2 turns and you have very little control, like actual control. Like you don't have an AoE stun on the team. You have a daze that they're going to cleanse off anyways. I mean, like it's just hard to keep the enemy team under control. So I think if they commit Cam to that team, I'd be willing to test it, but I'm skeptical with that lineup. I think without that lineup, it'd probably be very manageable.
Yeah.
But then again, without that lineup, you can just go take Wampa and he'll do the job too, and it's a lot cheaper.
I think he'll do well against Gas. I think they'll do very well against. What about CLS? You see CLS on defense.
I mean, Iden.
Iden, boy, oh boy.
No, I'm sorry. I use Iden to beat CLS.
Well, let's say I'm talking Grand Inquisitors for this. So you're saying no then to Grand Inquisitors against CLS?
Your buddy's back in chat.
Oh, sorry, I'm not looking at chat right now.
That's all right. I'm here for you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I would say there's a chance for it, but the problem is like so many of the Inquisitors kits are specific to certain Jedi comps and lineups, even in their uniques, that it's like if there's not a Jedi lead or whatever else, like the team really loses a lot of its viability. I would say against CLS it's possible because Grand Inquisitor does have the stacking purge when they get attacked out of turn. But again, it's like, okay, with the confusions and everything else, I feel like there's a certain point where they just don't get through it. I mean, if you do a high protection Ninth Sister with
But they can ignore
exposes won't.
Yeah, they can ignore taunt with CLS and stuff. So it's like, Jesus Christ. And plus they can get cleansed with Chewy. Yeah, I don't know about CLS. So again, this is why we're talking about this long term, especially for free to play. I mean, but I mean, we're talking about these teams and matchups. We still have to do them. But I mean, like a Jedi Revan team, your basic run of the mill Jedi Revan team. How do we think that would do against, like, see, Revan, Grandmaster Yoda, Basila, who do we want on that team? Jedi Revan, Grandmaster
GMY,
Yoda,
Basila, Jolie, and a tank.
Yeah, who else would you want on that team? It's just,
I mean, if it's defense, we're off. I mean, defensively, I mean, either Juhani or
maybe
GK for the taunt. Juhani just gets a little extra speed and offense, but
we're gonna have to play this out. So, listen, this is what we're talking about. We made this big investment initially. Now, if you were not making the big investment, then eventually you'll get to these teams and stuff. But for the players, we're trying to think about where this is going to be most effective against who. In GC, TW is a different story, but that's if you're investing the Omicrons. If they don't have the Omicrons, again, we're thinking Kylo, Palpatine, Rey, maybe. Rey's kind of up in the air. I just don't see JMK with Cat, and I don't see Lord Vader. I think they're going to get destroyed even with the Omicrons.
Well, Lord Vader's going to stop their only TM generation with his dots, so they're screwed. There's no way around the Cat yeet, so eat that in the face. Nothing you can do different about it. So I mean, at that junction, it's like, okay, where do we go through next where this thing becomes viable? It's just like, all right, JML possibilities there, but it also depends on the Jedi they use, because I see like Barris, well, at least in TW, Barris would be
it's like JML, Shock T, Barris. It's
just a bunch of cleansers, and then I mean, which granted, with his leadership Omicron, they'll keep reapplying the purge. So that could be beneficial to you as well to keep your turn meter up.
Yeah, but Barris cleanses every time she. It's like Jesus Christ.
So she cleanses, but then you automatically reapply.
Right, so
like
that could be
infinite turns with her.
That could be a thing.
But then you eventually get your turns too. So
so that could be a thing. That's a possibility. We have to see. I think if not JMK Cat, but I think if the Inquisitors can handle JML, that's a solid win for Inquisitors. But we'll have to wait and see. Because if they can handle a JML GL, then I think you can start saying, all right, Inquisitors was worth it. Well, I mean, how do you feel? Maybe not JMK Cat, but if you can take out a JML team with a Grand Inquisitor,
I would feel better about it. But
we're not going to see that on defense. See, that's the problem.
Exactly. And the thing is, too, is like the reason why we don't see it on defense is because to have a good JML team that doesn't get immediately just clapped by a Sith Eternal solo, you have to commit like your best Jedi to that team. And I think even at that point, I don't see them stopping that, because the Relic 9, like that's the thing too, is they have no way to deal with that inherited teachings from a Relic 9 JML. Like
that's true.
It's gonna be like 70k true damage. Like, I don't care how good your Ninth Sister is, she's only going to take so many of those to the face. So there's a lot of things that I'm just like looking at. I'm like, I need to see how everything plays out together. I mean, she'll be durable with that defense, but I mean, true damage ignores defense, so who gives a crap? So there's just like, there's too many things I don't know.
That's too many variables, too many questions. Maximus242 has a question for us. Says, do Datacrons feel incomplete to you guys? It feels like we were missing something. I don't know. We're not missing anything. I wish we were missing some stuff right now, because they are OP as doggy doo-doo, man. Holy God. Even some of the lower ones, man, they are really OP as shit, dude. I mean, they really are. These upper, I'm telling you guys, these upper echelon Datacrons, they're out of control, man. They really are. This is going to have a huge impact in this game. I'm calling it now. I've seen it already in TW.
They gotta ditch the GL stuff.
I agree.
I don't care I mean, we're gonna have to live with it through October. We know that's coming right now, or up to October. I think October 6th is the end of the second phase. But like GL's got to get out. Like this is the. I get their point, or let me. I don't even like that because they go on for months. So literally, think about this one though. It's like, okay, this one, if you were able in this one, this setup to be a Ray and a JMK Datacron. What about next month when we get a JML one?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have all three of those at level 9 and your JML is just like, yeah, by the way, I'm not going anywhere. I mean, I don't remember what JML's even.
It's some disgusting stuff on there, yeah.
Yeah, it's not nice. Let's just quickly bounce over to it and read from my heart's desires. Character mechanics for JML. So whenever a Jedi ally gains a stack of Jedi lessons, that ally gains 25% turn meter and 50% more damage stacking.
Christ.
Whenever another ally uses an ability on their turn, Jedi Master Luke assists, dealing once per turn, dealing 50% more damage. Or Jedi Master Luke deals 5% more damage per relic amplifier level on all allies. Gross. Gross. So if you have the average character at relic 8, which I mean, we'll just say that. Oh my god. So that would be 40 relic levels. So, oh my god.
40 times
200% damage increase.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, he's gonna efflux once and destroy the opposing team. You're just gonna bring back the Jericho team that Vigo, I want to say, put together. Which you just take Jedi Master Luke, you take GM or Hermit Yoda and Jedi Knight Luke, get the mass training and then the legacy of the whatever Jedi Knight Luke's unique is, and then just efflux and destroy the opposing team with like 600k crits. But like, I mean, think of it that way though. Like, when you have that, like, okay, then at this point, okay, now we've got a Datacron that can make it easier to beat the JMK or the other ones, but you still have to go like level 9 deep on it, and that's the part that starts to bother me, where it's just like everything just gets more and more investment to like, okay, well we've created a problem. All right, now the next Datacron will help sell you the solution, and I'm like, okay, yay.
Yeah, and the problem is getting Datacron material is just, oh my god.
Yeah, it's doo-doo right now.
It's doo-doo. I mean, you have to either spend or you have to be doing, you get some from Conquest. I use that term loosely.
I think literally, since we found out the TW stuff over the weekend.
Right.
If you are in the 380 bracket, you need a red box. You need a red box, buy the Conquest Pass, and go 3-1 on your TWs each month to take a single Datacron to level 9, free to play.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's doable, but I mean.
Well, I know, but the part that annoys me is like, okay, but then it's like you can't even build up like a couple level 3s to have with you, because you're gonna burn you need at the high end they restrict that Mark 1 acumen.
Yeah,
it's like you can't even build up a bunch of level 3s to use to help counteract some of the stuff, because some of the stuff, you might be able to get a couple level 3s that make a team just good enough of an improvement to be able to battle in these kind of fights where it's just like everywhere else it's just poopy. I don't like it. For me, I'm sitting there going, look at that, I'm like, if I don't pick up a Ray one, I might screw myself. And I'm like, kind of like, I don't want to spend more on Datacrons, but at the same time, it's like where I'm headed in GAC, It's gonna be either I spend or I lose.
Yeah,
I
if
don't
you
like
want to
either
stay
answer.
competitive, yeah, I don't like that either because it's like, here's the thing, and this is why I feel bad about Datacrons. Someone like my opponent for this next JC round, he has nothing for my array. Like he went heavy on defense, but if he thinks his C is going to beat my array, no. I mean, he only has like a level 3 Datacron, you know, and it's like he's got a great account. This guy's got 1 million or 100,000 more GP than me, right? He's got 9 million. I got 8.9 basically. So it's even on that front, but that Datacron brings us back to the days where you had it and they didn't. Because there's no earthly way you're beating. I mean, he might shock me. He might pull it off. I'm going to see what he uses if he does because, you know, I know what that damn Datacron just did in TW where I had 6 holds with people throwing GLs at that thing left and right. And it held easily. So what I think this is going to do too, eventually too, is the Datacrons, depending on which one you keep for offense and what you place for defense. Can you counter the Datacron with what's on there? Typical GL versus GL, possibly. Maybe.
Yeah.
But unless you're using crystals and stuff, but the vast majority of players, man, they're not where you and me are at, where I'm only working on Malgus and Grand Inquisitor for Christ's sakes. You know what I'm saying? And so I could use some crystals for, some Datacron materials, but let's say you're a mid-tier player. Let's say you're 7.5 million. You're trying to finish your last GL. You're trying to get Star Killer. All your resources and energy are toward that. Hell, you're doing Conquest trying to get the red box for Malgus. When and how the hell do you have time to try and get? You're basically like, whatever I can get, do with what I can, because I don't see them using a lot of crystals for this unless they spend money. But they're already trying to spend money probably to try to get these characters up.
Well, and the thing is too, is like the way I look at it with their current system, I find it even more atrocious because it's like when we have, like right now, they're limited because of the fact that not everybody's, you know, wailing their butts off for them. Not everybody is doing, you know, crazy things to have them. But think about how this compounds as you go into the next months of battle, because
the further you get behind.
You're behind, but the other players just keep getting more and more. So it's like, what if I get, like, if I only get 2 level 9s this go around where I get Ray and JMK, and the next time I get I take 2 more, I do Mon Mothma and JML, you know, and I've got these just gaudy teams where it's like I can put all 4 of my Datacrons in one zone and then literally just take everything else to offense and then beat your face in. Like, it's just so stupid. And think about what, I mean, we don't have a third one lined up for this one, but think about that one. Like if they did, you know, Sith Datacrons, so we could do Sith Eternal and Lord Vader, or, you know, Sith and Empire, you know, Datacron, do a dark side one after this. It's just like, if you have 2 level 9s of that, it's like you get to the point where you start to have this ungodly defense setup where it's like your opponent literally is like, did you wail as much as me? No? All right, kick rocks, you lose. See you next time.
Is that wrong? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right, let's get to our next question here. Red Ribbon Army question. Is anyone else having a huge drop in players? We've lost 7 players in the last couple of days. A lot of people have quit here recently.
Yeah, a lot of players are. I mean, this was the straw that broke camel's back for a lot of people. The monetization of Datacrons is pretty atrocious.
Yeah. I mean, we lost Poby, I know, from Archie, some other Archiers. So Nathan just said, I'm so glad I quit this game. Yeah, there you go. We still love you, Nathan. You're always welcome in the Skiers no matter what we're doing, buddy. He's my friend. But Poby, Hershey from Heinz's stream with the Knight Brothers, he quit. I mean, just people that you might see on streams. You know, you see Poby hanging out with us all the time. She hung it up. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's bad, man. A lot of players are leaving over Datacrons. It's just too much for them. It just literally, it is a bridge too far. They just can't compensate or want to compensate. Like me and you are adjusting, but we're kind of in that position. But there are a lot of players that are just overwhelmed with Datacrons, and now you've added this additional piece to the puzzle to farm and worry about, and it's just too much for them. They just can't.
And it's expensive.
Yeah,
it's gated, it's limited, and then it goes away. And like a lot of players have a problem with that, spending resources on farming something that's limited. I mean, I know there are some big Kraken accounts that are doing up to the 200s and 400s in Conquest every day right now, farming materials for Datacrons because they want to have like 6 level 9 for the first iteration.
That's insane.
And that's, yeah, it's so much crystal, so much currency you dump into that. But the thing is, though, is those players at the tip of the spear are gonna just like it's gonna get like to the gauntlet in the top 25 of GAC. It's just gonna be those who spent $1,000 on the first iteration of Datacrons.
Yeah,
it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Poor Scrim says his blue stacks went to 0 FPS, so I can't finish this battle. He says, I just lost this GAC. Oh, well, on to the next.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I mean, I probably lost my GAC because I went in to do a Rebel versus Negotiator counter, and I didn't land the target. I didn't get an assist from Falcon either attack, and I didn't get target lock to stick. So I couldn't get Anakin down in time, and then literally just sat there, was like, well, that fight's over.
Yeah, we've got a few players that I know and you guys know have quit, and that's just not even counting what you guys are seeing, like the question said. So yeah, it's yeah, so we'll see. What else? 73, correct me if I'm wrong, but challenge just means battle against. It doesn't mean you will win the challenge, right? Fair point.
I mean, it is a fair point in that, but I mean, the problem is that that's the issue with using innuendo in an official document. You
do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah, players want to know a certainty, and a lot of things that we get from them is not certain.
Yeah, very androgynous. I just wanted to use that word. Andrew Zani Major says, question, why are they so hell-bent on keeping J&K at the top of the meta and completely ignoring Lord Vader? Just makes them look like they don't care about game balance. That one's a fair point. I don't understand that one either. Lord Vader came out after JMK, and there's been a lot of stuff with Lord Vader. He's getting his ass kicked by a lot of teams. And JMK is still pretty gross. That's a great point. I don't know why they're hell-bent. Oh, God.
Well, I mean, that's what I just said earlier. Like, I am 100% convinced that the reason why they are not beating JMK Cat is because they're going to sell us the thing that beats JMK Cat. Like, I know it's a very negative approach to take on that, but it just makes sense. Like, there makes absolutely no reason whatsoever for this team not to counter JMK Cat unless there is something else they want us to do with that. I mean, it's the same reason why we have gotten nothing. I mean, it's why they haven't done anything with the Executor for so long. They're just waiting to sell us the next thing. Now, granted, First Order did help, but my reason is probably the reason why they've never addressed First Order winning is because they've already set in motion to bring out the counter. So it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. I know it's a bit more of a negative run to go at her, but I feel like that's just kind of how she is.
Yeah, it's not wrong. All right. Next question we have here from Kaya, the lovely Kaya. She's been in the chat. This question: what are your opinions on the Datacrons for crystal prices in the Datacron shop? I mean, certain pieces, I think the credits and stuff, they're fine. Certain pieces, they're fine. I mean, it's a little tricky, right? Clayton, follow my logic here. You can get them, but when you start getting to the higher tiers, you need a lot of them, of these extra pieces in the cache too. So it may not seem like a lot of crystals, but when you start getting your Datacron up to higher levels and you need, say, 100 of the 3 or 75 of the 2 and all this stuff, right? Then it starts becoming a little bit pricey for crystals. Very pricey, because when you start adding it up, it may not seem like it's bad. It's for trying to go for 9, but it gets bad quick. Me and him both took up both of ours to 9, and I can tell you it gets a little crystal exorbitant.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at, I mean, I think if you're buying out everything for a level 9 Datacron, you're looking at spending roughly 10,000 crystals. I mean, you're spending just about $60-$70 to bring up a Datacron. And you can't even do that in a full week. You have to get something in between, because there's just no way to get enough in a week.
Yeah. And that's a great point from 103, and then you lose it in 3 months.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, unless you win a bunch of GACs first all the time and can make up those crystals that you spend, it's tough, man. Especially as we said earlier, there's so much other stuff that people are trying to focus on in this game, trying to play catch up basically, and they just doesn't seem like they can catch up. There's always this new thing. First it's Relic 8, then it's Relic 9, then it's Datacron. It's just all this stuff that they just feel like they just can't catch up unless they spend. And a lot of people don't spend. Now a lot of people don't care. They're just like, I'm gonna be free to play no matter what. I don't care, and that's cool. But it's pricey to get everything up for crystals. That's not including like your shard sharp currency. Again, most people are not in a position to be using shard sharp currency to get Datacron material. You can use your ally points. A lot of people are not in a position to be using ally points for that stuff. So again, what was Kaya saying? It's 9,000 crystals to get everything in the shop. Save your crystals, Kaya. For a temporary buff. I mean, I don't know.
There are so many other things that you should work on before you freak out about Datacrons. And the important thing to remember here, folks, is that yes, while we have basically 3 months of this hell of dealing with this exhibition on Datacrons, when this exhibition ends, they will start a new iteration. All of those will go away, or, well, maybe. I don't know how exactly that'll roll out. But, I mean, we'll start again. And then hopefully they'll have some changes, and they'll make some things better. But, I mean, right now, it's just like, for a lot of people in my guild, I just told them, I'm like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Try to get one. Find something that works for you. I've been trying to help my guild go through, and that's why I took one level 9, so I could play with it and advise players on what to do, so they're not wasting materials on what's going on there. But I mean, in all honesty, on this set, I would say go deep. Get one. If you have JMK or JML, go deep on one Datacron. Try to get it maxed out from the free to play aspect. Don't go whale on it. But don't worry about trying to get a bunch of them, because this one, the level 3 stuff, is just mediocre at best.
Yeah. Like
you're going to have to hit level 6 minimum to get anything useful, and I don't like that. The next set, level 3 all day. The level 3 with all light side allies start with 25% turn meter. That's going to be cash money. Cash money.
Straight cash, homie.
Yeah, you're gonna put that, slap that on any light side team, and you're going to just be annoying. I mean, not JMK, guys. Don't do JMK.
You have 140,000 crystals, Kaya. Get out of here. You go buy some damn stuff in the damn Datacrons then.
That's impressive.
Most impressive.
I have never had that amount of crystals in my
I think
account.
we've spent well past that, but I don't think I've ever had that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, I know that for a fact.
Yeah. We've blown by that many times.
I buy, on average, 4 to 5 vaults a month.
You're a sick man, Charlie Brown.
That's like 75,000 crystals there. So, I mean, a couple of months I'll get there, but not all in one inventory. Hi, Bubba. Do you want the rest of your dinner? Are you finally coming back?
I just had some salad. Oh, you're talking to the doggy. Oh, God. I just saw that thing from Kyle, like, holy jeez. Holy shnikes there, eh? That's a ton of crystals. If you're in Canada, there, Kaya might have like 210,000 crystals with the exchange rate there, eh? Be a little bit less if you're in the old England there, eh? Wow. It's a plethora of crystals there, Kaya. Just gonna throw that out there. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna adjust, guys. I mean, I have another Datacron. I'm thinking of going for the one with JMK. I do kind of like the dark side one that I have right now. I may start another one here, especially after these TWs and stuff. Start taking another one up for a GMK one. I may just have all three on the GLs, JMK, GML, and Ray, just so we can test this stuff for you guys out. I think me and Clayton are going to look at this hard for the Datacrons. But I can just tell you my initial thoughts, they're way overpowered, way out of control, way ridiculous.
They need to, I mean, whatever stats they want to improve on the character, they need to, in my opinion, they need to standardize it. So level 1 always unlocks X thing, and it's a rolled amount, but it always unlocks health. This level 2 always unlocks protection. I mean, then bring up the tiers, so we're not rolling the level 1 tiers for those stats and getting screwed because they're locked at the beginning. Because the window's very small. It's like 5 to 10% on level 1.
Yeah.
But standardize that, and then they need to really kind of cut back a little bit on. I think that what they really should do is the alignment side should be wide, and then they should really, and then the level 6, the faction side should be a little narrower, and then the level 9 stuff should be pretty focused. It should be I think it should be 2 characters, maybe a third if you've got some good options in that. Like Rebels would be an easy one to have 3 in. But like the Jedi one, it's like you picked a legendary, a galactic legend, or not Jedi,
Yeah, it was a legendary.
The GR one.
Yeah.
You picked a legendary, a galactic legend, and then the most random GR Jedi out there. Like you didn't even pick anybody that's GR. Like we didn't pick a Bad Batch character. We didn't pick I mean, it just seems like they kind of pigeonholed that in a little bit, but it's just, I feel like a lot of what they're doing there, it's designed to push players to re-roll them. In all honesty, I think
need to, unless I didn't really re-roll anything. What did I re-roll just to see what we would get for the ultimate?
You re-rolled your level 9.
Yeah.
To get to the because you didn't get the one you wanted at the gate. You had, I think.
Yeah, but I had a 1 in 2 chance to get both the other 2, and they were really good. Either one I would have been happy with, right? So the ultimate one or the other one where she gets all that crazy nonsense.
Yeah, but when the thing with the rolling at the top end though is that you don't lock in the character, so you can always roll the other characters,
right,
as well as keeping what you already have. But it's like that's just kind of where I feel like they need to be. Hi guys, no, get out of here. No food for you. They kind of need to like slim it down just a little bit and not because it needs to make things consistent or easy to get, but if they are not going to change what we get on a monthly basis for Datacron upgrading, they need to slim down what the options are so that the investment of getting something to level 9 is more rewarding than the other way around of just like, oh, well, I could kind of get some leveled up, but it could be shit, and you may not have the ability to re-roll after that. It's like, what happens if you get Ayla, and never get anything else? Like, you can only re-roll that level 9 a couple of times before it's just unaffordable. I mean, it's like, I think both of us are the 80k re-roll mats, and then not the 80k, but the 80 re-roll and the 800,000 data cache. I mean, that's expensive. Like, good luck. It's just one of those things. I just feel like it's kind of a dumb thing that they've baked into the Datacrons.
Yeah.
It's super limited, super hard to get advanced on, and then I just feel like for a lot of it, the reward, the effort put in is high. The reward is menial if you don't get the absolute perfect roll, which is like a 10% chance, because there's like 10 or 12 options at the level 9 roll for each faction of what you can get.
All right, Nathan H. Question: if you can discuss it yet, who from Obi-Wan do you want in the game? Riva, maybe.
I mean, we'll probably get the 2 other Inquisitors that are there.
Well, that one's already in there, right? The brother's in there, but the other one, I don't know.
Yeah, but he was from Rebels. They just updated his kit to look more like the guy. I mean, they did the same thing with Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah. There was the other Inquisitor. What's her name? I forgot her name. I looked it up. I was like,
Fourth Sister.
Fourth Sister, yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't. I don't think they actually gave her a name.
Who else from this series? Maybe Tara?
I mean,
I don't know. I mean,
everything else, I'm kind of. It's too niche.
Yeah.
And that's really so like all the like characters that we meet on the light side alignment, I feel are too niche. I really don't want another iteration of Kenobi. I do, but I don't. I love Kenobi, but I would not want another iteration.
As a fan, yes, but as a player that understands this game, like, hell no.
Yeah. So I feel like the light side way is really hard to build out. If they want to do a couple dark side characters, if they want to bring in some Imperials or the other 2 Inquisitors that we see, I mean, I'd be for that, but I don't see them doing any of the other light side aligned characters. I feel like it's just they're not tied to a faction at the time, so it's like, they're not really rebels, so what do you really do with that? You know, they're gonna be a bunch of just like scoundrels. Like it's just I don't see them doing a lot from that. I really think that we're not going to see anything from. We might see this 2 other Inquisitors.
That's it. I don't think we're going to.
And that's it. We might see those relatively soon, but I think we're going to start circling back to a degree on Book of Boba Fett. We're 6 months out. It kind of makes sense to start coming in that direction.
Get some
again.
Tuscans in there. Finish that faction for God's sakes, there. All right, Nathan H.
They're not gonna know. With that Omicron, there's no way.
Nathan H. Question: what does the Swedish chef think about blue milk? Bark, bark, bark. Oh, and the Jewish cheese skewers in the skewers in the do. Oh, and it's in the blue milk. On the blue milk. The blue milk is spoiled. Oh, it is in the green milk. Oh, no. There you go. Andrew Zani, question: do you think CG will address that a lot of players are losing interest in the game? I mean, that is completely anecdotal, because although we have seen people we know in other places, it's anecdotal. We got to understand this, Andrew Zani. So we see certain things, we think that might be the trend. That's totally not the case, because we don't have the information.
Yeah.
So we don't have the numbers, because there's a ton of people that play this game that do not look at forums barely, or they look videos and stuff barely. It's just a fact. There's a lot of newer and mid-tier players that are not, this stuff affects them differently. You have to take that into consideration as well, right? So, if they're a mid-tier player, like, okay, Grand Inquisitor looks great, well, I'll get to it when I get to it. They don't have the same kind of mentality that we do. Will they address it? I don't know. And if it comes down to, is it a big enough deal where you're losing enough players? To one, do you feel the need to address it, or do you try to do something in the game to address it by not actually making a statement, but doing some stuff in the game to entice players to either come back, stay, or yada, yada, yada? I don't know if they would. I just can't see.
I mean, the only way we would see any form of them addressing it is if they decided to.
They would never come out and say that, because they would never say that.
No. What they would do is they would do an action. So my guess, if they were really concerned about the player base bleeding off, is that was when we would see a lot of the gear stuff get pushed out.
Yeah.
They would do a lot of things to make it easier to bring things up, to keep players invested in the mid-late game area, instead of just getting drummed out by the insurmountable wall. And I think that's what we'll see moving forward, is that if they're really worried about numbers, if the analytics show that they're just bleeding people left and right, and this push has gone super negative, they will just start doing stuff that makes it more convenient for the player base to be involved, so that the weight of one doesn't crush you.
I mean, you're never going to see a post from them saying that, mainly because you don't want people to know that if you're not doing well, you don't tell the public that you're not doing well. because then people see like, oh, this game's dying, I'll go play something else. You know,
Yeah.
that just, it sets a mentality and a tone that you never want to communicate that. Never let them see you sweat. That's the old adage, right? So, see if there's any other questions here.
Kaya's quick question. I just want to answer in chat.
Sure, go for it.
So each Datacron set has its own Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3 upgrade and reroll materials. They are different for every set.
Yep.
So when you get to the fourth set, when the first set will be dismantled into the mats for the fourth set. And then that'll just carry forward. So 2 goes to 5, 3 goes to 6, and then 4 goes to 7. That kind of stuff. So the only thing you can hoard at all is your data cache currency.
Pretty much.
So that is universal, but every Datacron, each season of Datacrons or whatever, however the hell they want to break those up, those are specifically their own mats. And the reason for this is so that we cannot do exactly what you just did. They do not want us hoarding, because there will become one that'll be really good, and then somebody's going to drop just a fat stack for free and then dominate GAC for 3 months. They're like, no, we can't have that. Or whatever. But yeah.
Birdie girdie. All right. Let me see if there's any other questions. I don't see any. I think this is a good time to start closing up shop. So I'll give a last call for questions or anything like that you guys want to ask. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. Sorry there's no lunch stream today, but we will have a lunch stream tomorrow. Don't you worry. It's going to be a big, long lunch stream because
Thursday.
we got Thirsty Thursday there, eh? And then we've got GAC, which won't take long. Trust me. We'll do some fights in GAC.
So cruel.
It's mean. It's really mean. I'm gonna have a good fight. I'm gonna get a good fight in GAC. That'd be great.
Just gonna piss all over this poor dude.
He put all this shit on defense, man. I can't help that, man.
Oh, I get that. That's probably the reason why he did. He was hoping that it would say you couldn't clean up as much as him. What did you guard off, by the way? Did you guard low or guard top?
South, of course.
Okay. So he's super screwed. If he can even get to your fleets.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still going to be... All you have to do is clear 2 zones.
Basically. Which we will have a lot for offense for. I'm changing my mentality. We talked about it earlier this week in GAC, or on the lunch stream. So we'll have the big lunch stream tomorrow. We will do the Grand Inquisitor event when I wake up. So we'll start off with that. We'll do the Grand Inquisitor event, have some fun with that tomorrow, and then do GAC. Friday we'll have the lunch stream. And then Friday night, of course, is happy hour, where we hang out with you guys and get a little drinky poo on and just have fun with good food and good friends, good company, and just play the game and have fun. That's what it's all about. Andrew's on a question: why can't you email a Jedi a photo? Because attachments are forbidden. Okay, Mr. Grande Patron follower, acolyte, you take that, get that crap out of here. Son of a... And 5v5 top gives more banners. Does it? I thought the bottom did.
No, it's top.
Is it top? Okay.
Yeah, because it's the back wall. The back wall only has 3 teams, so it's
it's like ships, and they can get more ship with banners. Okay.
Yeah, more banners with ships.
Gotcha. So I'll have to change that around for the next round.
I mean, either way, I mean, it's still nasty. Nasty boys. And 3v3, it's the bottom. The bottom, the top. I'll start wherever I want. Anything else? No, I think that's it. It's a small banner difference. It's 9 banner difference for clearing the zone.
You have more potential though with ships for more points though. Well, not in 5v5. I mean,
ships should generally land 72.
Yeah. So ships a little bit more potential. Yeah. That's right. And then Fatality wants to let us know that the Grand Inquisitor event starts in 5 hours. Well, I'll be sleepy time. It's time for sleepy time for Ranger. I have been up since early this morning. I've had a really long day. As you can tell, I didn't do the lunch stream. That wasn't just Ranger just screwing off. That was Ranger really super busy with other shit. So, God bless America. All right, final thoughts. Angel Sonic, when does a joke become a dad joke? When it sounds like a dad joke. When it becomes a... Okay. Oh, no. He did it again. Do I need to time him out? Is that what I need to do? I mean, I can only have room in my life for one Grande Patron there, Clayton. I don't need to.
It becomes apparent.
Yeah.
Boo.
Boo. Boo this man. Boo. You want to go home and rethink your life. All right. We're going to end the stream on that note. Thanks, Andrew Zani, you son of a... you son of a... So with that, everyone have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your hump day festivitas. I'm going to go rest, relax, let the weariness of the day wash over me. Hope I get some sleep tonight. But with that, love you guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out here at RC. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, all that crap. And we will see you tomorrow for the big day of Inquisitor Unlock and GAC for the lunch stream. And then we'll just continue the good times rolling through the weekend. So everyone be safe. Love you guys. And we'll talk